Okay, hello everybody. It's Danielle Ronin with Keller Williams Realty, continuing my series of bringing the community together and other community leaders in an effort to help and assist with any questions you might be having during these troubling times. I wanted to introduce one of my colleagues, Theresa DeGray of Consumer Legal Services out of Milford. Hi, Theresa, how are you?
Hi, how are you?
I am doing great. I really appreciate you taking the time to join me today so that we can help our fellow community members.
I'll get rid of the voice in a minute.
Okay. Sort of get through these trying times. And, certainly came to my mind, as a realtor, my immediate financial future is going to be impacted. And so I get concerns about what's going to happen. Oh, it's okay. Listen, this is this is our new normal, right?
Uncharted territory.
Yeah, that's okay. We're all in the same boat. What if I can't pay my mortgage? What if I can't pay my bills? What if my credit starts suffering and now I might be facing bankruptcy or foreclosure? And those are areas that I know you are very well schooled in and can really shed some light on. So I'd love to hear what you have to say about those types of concerns.
Okay, well, first of all, I just have to tell my son that I'm on TV right now. So can you go sit down for a few minutes? Okay. And I'll be right back? Okay. All right, thank you. Sorry. He's 3 years old. So you wanted to know a little bit about what's going on with COVID-19 and how that's going to affect people's financial futures.
Yes.
So basically, each bill you pay or each creditor you have probably has individual programs being set up right now. Yeah. Okay. So that's good news. So what I would do is, if you have the ability to keep making your payments, please make your payments. That's number one top priority, especially your mortgage payments and your car payments. Because eventually all this is going to pass and we're going to go back to work and we're going to go back to the grocery store and all that. And you're going to need a car and a place to live. However, if you've been let go and laid off because of the crisis, my first suggestion is, number one, call unemployment and make a claim immediately. So at least you have some money coming in so you can feed yourself and your family. The second thing you want to do is either contact your mortgage company or your landlord and tell them what the situation is. Right. So if you're still working, but you're just working from home and nothing's really changed, then I wouldn't do anything at all. I would just continue living your life the way you have been. But if you've been laid off or have some sort of loss of income because of this situation, like say you're self-employed, yeah, and you are essential, most self-employed people tend to be essential, like plumbers, electricians, real estate agents have been deemed essential, lawyers are essential per the governor's executive order. So what I would suggest is that even if you're self-employed but you have a reduction in income, then you can still, I'm sorry, somebody's trying to call me. You can still contact your creditors and tell them the situation. So like I said before, each creditor is probably starting to set up some programs to assist in the crisis. But what you're going to want to do is just call them and put them on notice that, hey, I lost my job, or hey, I have a reduction in income. Is there anything that you're planning to offer to help me with? And if they're not, at least you've put them on notice. Okay. So if you do miss payments, it's kind of not the end of the world, because you can always keep up with them. Make them up later if you have more income later. Or in the alternative, if you miss a payment, that's usually when the creditors traditionally and historically have been helpful. So normally, if you think about it, just take a credit card, for instance. You have a Discover card and you've built up a little bit of a balance of a couple $1,000s and you've been paying $58 a month. Well, now you've lost your job, but you paid your $58 last month and you're current. If you call them up now, say we weren't in a crisis, and you called them up now and you said, hey, listen, I lost my job. We're not in a crisis. I know you don't have any plans to help me with this, but what can I do about this? They're either going to say nothing because there's nothing they can do if you're current, or they're going to say, oh yeah, I have this program where we're going to give you interest-free payments for the next, 12 months or so. And then after that, they're going to balloon you with a gigantic payment. So you have to be super duper careful.
Right. Right.
I'm sorry. I have to
go right ahead.
Go ahead.
What about the people who were already kind of in the danger zone before this even hit?
Yeah. So somebody said to me the other day that they live in a pretty affluent community in Connecticut. And they said that there was news reports that 500 people went through the line at the food bank to get food for their kids. So 500 families in some affluent town in Connecticut can't feed their kids. So, I mean, that just tells you, and I'll use her words, like that just tells you how close to the edge these people are.
Right.
And how some people are living that way and you didn't even know it.
Right.
So my thought process is, if you are already sort of struggling or headed in the direction of a bankruptcy, now is probably the time to start getting that information and start reaching out to a lawyer to find out what your options are.
Right.
Because bankruptcy is relief. That's what it really truly is. But it's also protection. It's protection from your creditors. So if you were on the edge and you were having trouble paying things, and now you're going to struggle even more because of the crisis, you might want to consider filing bankruptcy now or soon, because it's going to be a protection. Because the last thing you want is for your creditors to start doing strange things to you, like suing you. Even though the court system is on priority 1 cases only right now, they're not completely shut down, there's still a lot of things going on. Attorneys are essential, so they're still working, and they're bored maybe, so they're starting to take in cases to sue people, and state marshals are also essential. So that's how people get sued. The lawyer sends the paperwork to a marshal. The marshal then serves you with the paperwork, and that's the beginning of a lawsuit. So if lawyers have, creditors contacting them to sue you, that's not going to stop. That's going to keep on going.
Do you think the creditor, like the credit bureaus, do you foresee them doing anything proactive as far as reporting goes? Has there been any talk about that?
I haven't seen any talk about the actual credit bureaus and reporting.
Yeah.
The credit bureaus are just clearinghouses to report information. So it's the actual creditors that would have to report information to the credit bureau to put it onto your credit report.
Okay. And then you mentioned something before about balloon payments, which sounded almost like be aware of anybody who's trying to be a predator for those who are vulnerable right now.
Yeah, so you see this a lot with credit card companies that that have these programs. So say we weren't in a crisis, we were just in regular times. Hang on. Say we were just in regular times and you lost your job and you called the creditor and you said, okay, Discover Card, I lost my job. What can you do for me? Well, first they would say, you're current, we can't do anything for you. Then you miss 1 or 2 payments, then you call them back or they start calling you and offering things to you. Then they're willing to help you. So now you get onto a program with them, which would be a deferment program or a forbearance program. And you would say, okay, I'm just going to make it up, make $5 a month payments for 12 months. Well, if you read the small fine print, in the 12th or 13th month, they can come back and say, we want all those payments made up because now you should be in a better financial position.
Right. We want you to be whole now. Make yourself
right. So
Okay.
that's the problem. And if you get into a situation like that and you're still not recovered from whatever crisis it was at the time, you're never going to be able to make up that payment. And what's going to happen is you're going to then miss that payment.
Right.
And then it's just going to be a snowball effect.
Sure.
Until they sue you. And the problem with them suing you is not a problem because you can always contact an attorney and make a settlement and all that. The problem with suing you is if you don't do anything about it and you get a judgment against you, then they can start to do really crazy things to you.
Sure.
They can garnish your wages. They can put a lien on your home. They can sweep out your bank account. So it's those things that you have to be super careful of.
Can you explain a little bit how bankruptcy works, and for those who feel like either they're headed there already or may feel like they're going to be headed there, how it works and how it impacts their lives and their credit and what they can expect? Because I trust that a lot of people may be headed in that direction.
Sure. So I filed bankruptcy in 2009. I'm not sure if a lot of people know that. And it was the best thing that ever happened to me, and I wouldn't be where I am today if I hadn't done it. So back then, I was just out of law school. I was struggling, and I couldn't make ends meet on the payments, on the income that I had, and I couldn't move out of my parents' house. So I went and filed bankruptcy, and it was the best thing that ever happened to me. And it gave me the freedom to actually move on with my life, get married, start a business, all those things. So if you're already headed in that direction, the number one thing you need to do is contact an attorney, either me or somebody else in your local community that's a trusted bankruptcy attorney that knows the bankruptcy laws because they are forever changing. And you do have to qualify for bankruptcy. So there's two different kinds of bankruptcy, two main kinds of bankruptcy. Right. There are a few others. But for individual people or married couples, they would either be filing a Chapter 7 or a Chapter 13. In these times coming up, we're going to see a rise in Chapter 7 bankruptcies because people's income are going to fall below the median. They're going to qualify to file bankruptcy, and they're going to be able to wipe out all of their debt. Bankruptcy, I like to say that it's like a Band-Aid. You know, you might have been struggling to begin with. Now we have this crisis, and you're just going to be putting Band-Aids over everything. Band-Aid on the mortgage, Band-Aid on the credit cards, Band-Aid on the car payment. And you're going to be sending what you can and doing what you can and calling your creditors. And maybe even if you're a small business taking an SBA loan, which is kind of dangerous. So bankruptcy is ripping the Band-Aid off. You're going to rip the Band-Aid off, and then you're going to heal. But you're going to heal in such a much better, healthier way. You're going to learn through the bankruptcy what to do to build good, solid credit that you can keep going with.
Okay.
So just to give you a little, maybe 101 on what bankruptcy is. Chapter 7 bankruptcy, you have to qualify for your income. So a single person right now can't make more than about $65,000 a year. That goes up as you add people to the household. So a 2-person household, it goes up, 3-person, 4. For a family of 4, mom, dad, and 2 kids, that's about 123, I think it is right now. Changes every April 1st and November 1st. So if anybody wants to know if they qualify, they can just contact me and I'll run the test for free.
Okay.
So once you find out whether or not you qualify, then you would find out what your options are. So sometimes I have to throw treats for the dog. Sometimes you may not want both spouses to file at the same time. Sometimes that's done strategically, and sometimes that's done just simply so we could save somebody's credit. So just in case the water heater goes or something and they need to buy something on credit from Home Depot, at least one spouse still has some credit. But once the bankruptcy is over, and it only takes 4 months, so once the bankruptcy is over, you're going to do things strategically to rebuild your credit. And so years ago, before I even filed bankruptcy, anybody could file bankruptcy. Didn't matter what your situation was. There were very few parameters. So you could file for anything. But it was really difficult to rebuild your credit. You know, it was that 7 to 10 years that you hear about all the time, and it was embarrassing and all that. Nowadays, much harder to file, but much easier to rehabilitate afterwards.
Okay.
So all you have to do afterwards is start getting, I know this is the most ironic advice I give out to all my clients. Right after a bankruptcy, best thing to do is go out and get a credit card. Not just any credit card,
Right.
but a secured credit card. So you give a security-backed interest into the program, and then they give you credit so you can use it and build your credit.
Now we do have somebody who's tuned in. Jackie, hi, how are you? I'm going to unmute you. I understand Jackie has some questions for you, Theresa. So Jackie, you might have to unmute yourself. I'm trying to unmute you.
Okay,
there you are.
but I apologize because everybody's home. So, hi, Theresa.
Hi.
So from, this was from the realist, I'm a real estate, I'm a realtor.
Yeah.
And we're getting a lot of questions. So we have people who are closing this week. And we're getting them done. We're probably going to get them to the closing table, but they're scared because right around the corner may be no income from them.
Right.
How do they handle that with a brand new mortgage?
Well, it's the same thing that you would handle if you were in the 15th year of a 30-year mortgage. You know, you're just going to make the payments until you can't make the payments anymore. And if the time comes that you can't make the payments anymore, then you're going to reach out to the mortgage company for help. And if they can't provide you help, then you're going to reach out to an attorney for help. And if it goes far enough into the foreclosure danger zone, which would be the 91 days after the missed payment, then you're really going to want to contact an attorney because you're going to be in foreclosure. Luckily, we have tons of foreclosure resources here in Connecticut. We have a foreclosure mediation program, gives you 7 months or 3 sessions with a mediator in the system. There's also EMAP, which is Emergency Mortgage Assistance through the state of Connecticut, which is a loan to bring you current so you can get back on your feet. And we also have this wonderful program in the Northeast called the SUN program or Blue Hub Capital. And that is a refinance for families in foreclosure. And it's the only company.
I mean, you know that I had talked to them. Those people were wonderful. So
yeah, they are
amazing.
fabulous.
Yeah, I mean, people are just really concerned right now that they don't. So, there's like a double-edged sword here. Do they move forward and hope that they still have some income so that they can follow up and pay those mortgage payments? Or do they put it on hold for now? But if they lose their job, they're going to have to requalify for that mortgage when they go back to work with at least one paycheck so that they can requalify. So there's lots and lots of questions. And, we're trying to stay working. But those are the questions when we reach out to our clients or our sphere of influence right now, or even to the new leads that are actually signing on to our Boomtown lead generator. Those are the questions they're asking, what happens if? So I wanted to jump on today to see if maybe I had a little bit of information to give them, or, in the case where it's beyond my pay category, I can refer them to you.
Yes. No, you can refer anybody you want to me. And there's literally, this situation is changing by the minute, not by the day, not by the hour, and literally changing by the minute.
So we haven't heard at any of the mortgage companies just saying, okay, you don't have to pay your mortgage right now. That's not the case, right?
No, I haven't heard that. Heard that.
Jackie, I'm going to be talking to a mortgage broker tomorrow, and I can give you in another one of these types of chats with regard to just that. I've read a lot online about mortgage companies postponing, suspending payments, I don't know, 6 months or 12 months or whatever that's going to look like. I know there's a lot of chatter about it right now. What I don't know is if that has been instilled. Is it lender?
It's lender specific.
Yeah.
It is lender specific because there's a lot of talk on through the legal community about Fannie and Freddie and FHA mortgages.
Right.
And I think there is a moratorium in place on foreclosures, but I don't know the specifics. I don't know the specifics.
I did hear that they rent and foreclosures. It was, I don't know if it was suggested or it was a ruling that they are not doing any of those right now.
Yeah, there's a moratorium in some respect, but I don't want to get into the details because I honestly just don't know all the details.
Right.
But I do know that if you are currently in foreclosure and you have a law day or a foreclosure sale date scheduled in April or May, it is being pushed out to June.
Okay.
So if you're in foreclosure right now, then you should contact your attorney. And if you don't have an attorney, you should reach out to me and I can either help you directly or hook you up with somebody in your local community.
Okay. And how would somebody reach you, Theresa?
Geez Louise. The best way to reach me is my cell phone, 203-814-0600. You can call me or text me. Or if you just Google my name, Theresa DeGray, I'm all over the internet.
Okay, great. And Jackie, do you have any additional questions or any additional insight to offer on your end?
No, I mean, people are still looking and they're signing up on our lead generation system every single day. They're not breaking down the doors to go see any properties yet, but they're still looking, which is a good sign. But they have tons and tons of questions and they're nervous, and the sellers don't want anybody in their house right now, so it's difficult to sell a house because they don't want anybody in there.
Right.
So
and
we're doing things like virtual tours and things like that, and just trying to ease their fear about this whole situation. But those were a couple of questions. So when I saw this, I thought maybe I could just at least get on and get some information for them to ease their minds.
Well, I'm glad you did.
There is a resource that I want to tell you about. So in Connecticut, we have a fair housing. We have the Connecticut Fair Housing Authority, I think it's called. And there's a man that works there, and he gives us updates almost every day. I call him a legal saint. So if you just bear with me, it's the Connecticut Fair Housing Center, and his name is Jeff Genties, Jentes, and he is in Hartford. And there's your cat, and my dog is over there. And he gives us daily updates about what's going on, especially with the lenders. Hang on one second, I'm just finishing up. And he's really up to the minute. He's got his thumb on the pulse of, Hartford.
Okay, so it's the Connecticut Fair Housing Authority?
Connecticut Fair Housing. It's actually Connecticut Fair Housing Center.
Okay.
Yeah. And April is April is Fair Housing Month. So I was actually going to send out a physical newsletter in the mail about him and do like a whole story on him. But we're not sending anything through the mail now because I can't even get out to get stamps.
Right.
I have my husband's working from home. I'm working from home. I have a 3-year-old and a very loud dog.
Can you do a digital newsletter?
We're going to transfer the paper newsletter. It was the first month we were going to send out a real newsletter and the crisis hit. So we're going to just create, an e-newsletter.
Personally, Theresa, I think you should still do the mail because I think that's the only thing people have to look forward to right now is getting something out of their mailbox.
Yeah, but there's news stories going all over social media that you can transmit the coronavirus.
I think you
transmit the coronavirus through through paper.
Yeah, you got to let it sit for like 3 days or something. Actually,
we've been letting all of our Amazon packages sit. So
lovely.
You get to have a tour of my house.
Oh, yeah.
I was going to say, I like the fireplace, Theresa.
Yes, and
In the bathroom.
my 1965 bathroom, because this is the only place I can get quiet. So here I am.
All right. So any parting thoughts, Theresa, for you? Any other advice for people to sort of maybe be proactive if they feel like they're falling into the danger zone?
So I just want to say a couple things. Number one, I just want everybody to be really careful with the SBA loans. The SBA, traditionally and historically, the loans have been a little tricky to begin with. So I don't know what they're doing right now, and I don't know if it's good or if it's a trap. So they're offering, I have to lock the door. I am locked in the bathroom. My husband's home, so don't worry, the kid's not alone. But he's working, so he can't like stop the kid. So I just want everybody to be really careful with the SBA loans, because I know a lot of people that are listening to this and a lot of people that are my friends and colleagues are solopreneurs or small business owners. You know, I know a lot of people that own diners and restaurants, and they just got to be really careful, because traditionally and historically, they'll make you collateralize the loan, like with your house, and then you can't pay the loan back and you're trapped. And if you want to file bankruptcy, you might not be able to remove the lien from the house.
Right.
So it's very difficult.
I don't know if you remember when we were going through our crisis that the company that we were with at the time made us do that.
Yeah.
And we ended up with that $81,000 lien on our house. So
Yeah.
you have to be very, very careful.
Yes. Yes. It's very scary.
And they didn't tell us that that was going to happen. It was just.
Right. It's just sign here, sign here, sign here.
Yep.
You're in a crisis.
And you just,
don't even
because
know
you're in a
what's going on.
crisis and you don't know what to do.
Right.
Right.
Exactly. So you have to be super careful. And like I said, you know, every step of the way, no matter what you do, consult an attorney, because you just have to protect yourself. And when you are in crisis mode, you may not be paying attention or reading the fine print. So just be careful. But my number one suggestion to people is pay your mortgage and feed your family. Everything else is not that important. You know, car payments can go a month or two. You know, nobody can shut off your utilities right now. Nobody can shut off your utilities right now. We're in the moratorium. Can you please just watch him for 2 seconds? So he wants to go outside. All right, here. Do you want to
Tell
go
him
on
it's
TV?
snowing.
Hi. Oh, now he's gonna run away.
Yeah.
I scared him.
Yeah, that was the best thing I could have done. Just put him on TV.
All right. So pay your mortgage, feed your family.
Mortgage, feed your family, and try to pay your car payments so you can get back to work when you can. Okay, we'll go outside.
All right.
You know what the other important thing is I've realized is the one thing you can't let go is Verizon is not letting you extend past a couple weeks to pay your cell phone bills, and we're all online with our cell phones to run our businesses. So this is going to be a great
Everybody
recording,
asks
Theresa.
me if I'm going to have another baby.
Welcome to our new normal.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time. Jackie, thanks so much for tuning in. Jackie, where's your office? Where are you at?
No, thank you. I work for MattandDanielleRownin Realtors out of Wallingford and Brantford, but both our offices are closed down, so I am home too.
Yeah, I'm Keller Williams out of Trumbull. So.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
So I'm happy to connect with you and.
Yeah,
you know.
absolutely.
You guys are definitely essential. It was deemed in the executive order.
I know.
Yeah, I saw that.
Came out and clarified it. You guys are essential.
I know. I know. All right. Well, thanks
Now we
again.
just got to get those mortgages through.
Yes.
I'm going to post
Who are you interviewing tomorrow?
Tomorrow, Justin Egan of Fairway Mortgage.
Oh,
yeah.
Fairway. They did the mortgage on this house.
Okay.
Yeah, I got the mortgage through Fairway on this house. And then they quickly sold it. So I'm with somebody else now, but
That's what they do.
But they're wonderful.
Yeah, they're good to work
Yeah.
with. All right. So as I said,
Danielle, thank you.
Yeah, I'm going to repost this on my social. Jackie, if in the comments you want to send me your information, that if you want to repost it, that's up to you. It's your decision to make.
Sure.
Just, this is, you missed the beginning, but it's like, I'm just trying to bring the community together and help answer questions ahead of time that people may be thinking of, but don't know where to turn to ask. So
yeah, exactly why I jumped on. I mean, we're trying to be a resource to them in a time where we can't be very salesy and,
exactly.
hey, do you want to buy a house? But hey, can we help you, or can we answer any questions?
Exactly. All right, great.
Thanks for doing this, Danielle.
Yeah,
my
thank you
pleasure.
so much.
And have a great day, and let's go make differences in other people's lives.
Yes, amen
Thanks.
to that.
Bye,
Okay.
Theresa.
Stay well.
Thank you.
Bye.